Hi everybody, today I decided to highlight a fish that's usually overlooked by most of fish keepers, but it's a staple in the aquarium fish trade, has been a staple for many years, decades. You can find this fish almost at any big box or mom and pop fish shop, local fish shop or pet store that sells fish. I'm talking about the sun catfish or eclipse catfish, or also known as bullseye catfish. We have about, I think 4 of them, not about, 4 of them left. We used to have about a dozen, at least about 8 or 10, the real big ones. They're kind of slow growing. In the many fish shops, when you read the label, it would say that they don't exceed 12 inches, or sometimes 10 inches, it says, or maybe 8 inches. Well, maybe if you keep it in a, you can stunt it if you keep it in a small tank and feed it flakes for its life. Maybe you can get it not to exceed that size, but they can live for decades. Our oldest is about 20 years old. I mean, all of ours are 15 to 20 years old, the ones that are left, and they're all about 16, 17 inches long right now, tip to tip. According to the science, they can reach about 21, 22 inches tip to tip as the champions, I would say. There's only one up in front. I don't know why. They don't feed all the time, but they can be food hogs at times. Today they're not feeling it too much. There's 2 of them over there. I don't know if you can, how well you can make them out. This one's probably our oldest. They can be kind of slow-witted too. I mean, they're semi-aggressive. I mean, they can pick their targets, and they don't get along with some fish. They don't particularly like each other's company. But then when you have a lot of them, like not 2, 3, or 4, but a lot more, this aggression spreads around and becomes more manageable, especially if the tank is big. But even in a big tank, when you have a large enough numbers, they kind of keep together. They don't spread out and establish territories, at least in our experience. It's a love and hate kind of a relationship. They enforce hierarchy pretty strictly. If they have to be violent and damaging, they would do that too. There's one over there by the back wall that's not eating at all right now. They take both fish and pellets. They seem to prefer pellets, but they take fish also rather well. As I started saying, they're kind of they can be slow-witted. This big guy over there used to not object too much to a synodontis catfish rasping on its back, rasping its slime and rasping its skin and rasping its wound, to the point that I had to remove the synodontis out of here. It wasn't the only one synodontis had used, but it's one of the dull-witted ones that let other fish like synodontis be parasitic and feed them with their own body. And I'm feeding them. I was hoping that they would come out in force, or they would come out more readily. They usually do, but today they're not too hungry, it looks like it. What else can I say about them? They, as I said, they can be assertive with tank mates that are not of their own kin, but for the most part they seem to be rather docile. Again, in very large tanks and in large schools, when there's only a few of them, when they're smaller, in the smaller tanks, they prefer to hide a lot. But with size and bigger tank and bigger numbers of them, they become much bolder. This one lost a left eye, the one that's closest to the camera right now. Yep, in some kind of battle, I think. With it's an exception. Normally they're just fine with each other. I mean, they don't injure each other that badly. They usually go for the fins, for the tail. There's a lot of crumbs of the pellets in the water column, so I apologize, it looks a little unclear. Their color kind of depends on their, probably on the surroundings, not probably, for sure, on the surroundings and on the gender too. I've never seen them try and, well, maybe those fights in part might have been due to courtship, but I was never sure that this was courtship, and they can engage in those fights year-round at some point. It's not like it's happening only in the pre-spawning season in the late spring, early summer. But again, they're just establishing dominance in their pecking order. That one-eyed one is quite a bit darker, but I noticed one-eyed fish tend to darken up other fish. For example, our Cuban gar, that's one-eyed, is far darker than others. The guy on the left, the big guy, or girl, used to have a huge stomach. I mean, I thought she was gonna burst. Right now it's much more manageable and much healthier, but I hope it's not an indication of anything undesirable going on with them. So today is a pellet day. I gave this tank a bunch of pellets, sinking pellets and now floating pellets. I don't pre-soak them, well, because I'm filming right now. I didn't want to keep interrupting the filming and go back and get another portion of it. I give them about in 3-4 portions, the pellets, the sinking pellets. So today I pre-soaked them all at the same time, and they seem to kind of a little disintegrate in the water. That's why the crumbs are filling the water column. Other than what I said, I don't think they're anything remarkable. They never come and never hand feed for me, despite the size. They never approach me, never beg for food. They have a big mouth, so they're omnivores, I think. Perhaps in the wild they're mostly predatory. They have a striking resemblance because of that big black spot to the black ear iridescent shark catfish. And general body shape is similar, and the black spot is similar. So when you look at them side by side, you think they're very closely related, but they're not. Black sharks are Pangasiidae, Pangas catfish or shark catfish, and these guys are Horabagrus, which tells you they're more closely related to the Bagridae, but they're in their own family, Horabagrus. I think they're the only member of that family too. I mean that genus. I may be misremembering too, so don't quote me without checking. Alright, so that's kind of a short and unremarkable story about rather unremarkable conspicuous fish, or inconspicuous. I don't think they're really, I wouldn't call them smart, again, because they never recognize the keeper, never interact with them, never beg, and they allow other fish to parasitize them. So that's like a lot of catfish, they're pretty primitive. With better lighting and a better background, they can be spectacular with olive and yellow highlights and light olive colors. Oh yeah, you have a big mouth. And more bright outside fringe on the trademark eclipse symbol on the sides by the gill. Ours are kind of kept dim, and the tank is dark, so they're not that colorful. Thank you for watching, guys.